Hi, my name is Genevieve and I'm going to show you how to make a rainbow layered cake. It's my third son's 4th birthday coming up and this is the cake that he picked out, so I'm going to show you how I make it. Let's go over the ingredients, but first preheat your oven to 335 degrees. So one thing that I did want to say is that this recipe is in grams, and to get consistent results you have to weigh your ingredients, which is what I did. But to make this recipe easy to follow, I included the recipe in cups. Okay, I have 4 3/4 cup of cake flour, 3 1/3 cups of sugar, 1 teaspoon of salt, 2 tablespoons of baking powder, and 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1 1/2 cups of butter, 2 cups of buttermilk, 8 egg whites, 3/4 cup of oil, and 1 tablespoon of vanilla. And I usually always start with this step is to mix all your dry ingredients together. So your flour, your sugar. You really only have to sift the flour, but I might just throw everything in here and I just sift everything. My oven's ready. Okay, I filled up too much. Why'd I do that? Sift. So smoky in here. Salt, baking powder, and baking soda. Oh, where'd you go? I need you. I still need you. Okay. Sift. I'm gonna mix it a little bit. So as this mixes on low, I'm gonna throw in my butter in chunks. See? Chunks. I'm gonna do this until my dry ingredients reach a sand-like consistency. It's gonna be very coarse. Okay, this guy looks like sand, so let's move on, shall we? So I'm going to take my buttermilk and my egg whites, and I'm going to add about half of it to the egg whites. And that looks like half. And then I'm going to add the rest to my oil. Then to the oil, I'm going to add my vanilla. I'm going to mix this a little. And then I'm going to let it mix for 2 minutes. Let me bump it up to medium. Okay, it's been 2 minutes. Now I'm going to add my egg white buttermilk mix. Let me just mix it a little bit. Add these in thirds. So, 1. Here's 2. And the last one. Now I am going to weigh my batter. I'm going to have 6 different layers of different colors, so it's important that all of the layers are even. I have 2,683 grams divided by 6. So it comes, according to my calculations, it comes out to 447 grams each. Let me check my work. 447 times 6. 2, 6, 8, 2. Yep. Each pan should have 447 grams of batter each. Yep. And I checked my work. Let's do it. I have my 6 colors: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple. So I'm going to start with my red. I'm going to mix it. I'm going to do orange, yellow. Okay, I'm going to stop here and let me tell you why. Ideally, you would have 6 of the same pans, or however many layers you're making, and I only have 3. They're not even the same pans, but like the diameter is pretty similar in all of them, so that works. This is equal parts flour, shortening, and oil, and it would be the same as if you rubbed butter all over it and sprinkled flour, and then but it's just cleaner. So you want to do this so that your cake slides right out. 1, 2. Now I am going to put my little parchment paper rounds in. Okay. Okay, now these are going to bake for about 20 to 24 minutes. In you go. I'm going to color the rest of my batter. My first 3 cakes just finished baking, so now I'm going to pop in the last 3. Okay, I'm done baking my cakes. They're cooling off on a cooling rack right now, and my house smells amazing. I'm making a buttercream frosting, and I really like this version of buttercream frosting because it's not too sweet. So I'll show you how to make it. It has pasteurized egg whites, meaning this is the one that comes in the carton. 227 grams of pasteurized egg white, 1 2-pound bag of powdered sugar, around 8 sticks of butter. These are softened, 2 teaspoons of vanilla, and a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Okay, now into my bowl, all my powdered sugar. Poof. I'll let this thing mix for about a minute. Like the cake batter where I added the butter in chunks, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to add them in slowly. Ah, okay, all my butter is in there now. I'm going to let this beat on high for about 8 to 10 minutes until it tastes like ice cream. That's when you know it's done. If you taste it and it still tastes like butter, it's not done. You got to keep beating it. I almost forgot to add my vanilla and my salt, so in goes my vanilla. Scrape the sides and the bottom of my pan. Yeah, it smells amazing. That vanilla makes it smell so good. Taste test. Maybe like 1 more minute. Okay, it's been going on for 10 minutes, actually 11 because I lost track of time just standing here. I'm going to do a taste test. Yeah, that tastes like vanilla ice cream. It's so good. Okay, it's done. So now I'm going to go assemble the cake. So one thing that I do want to say is that these cakes are super light, fluffy, and moist. So with that being said, I popped them into the freezer to harden it up a little because I didn't want it to like squish or fall apart as I started working with it. So these are it right here. See, I'm able to pick it up and it doesn't like fall apart. Just peel off the parchment paper. Look how pretty. This side is pretty, but this side is kind of brown. So I'm going to trim like the edges and then I'm going to trim the top a little just to get all this brown off. Just cutting down and I go all the way around, making sure I cut off all that's brown or hard and crunchy so that it leaves me with a infinite sided polygon because I'm making all these straight cuts I'm not really getting a circle, but okay, and then you flip it over. And then, oh, actually this side looks good. There's not really, look, it's not even that brown, so I'm gonna keep this. Red is good too.
How I trim the top to make sure all the brown and the crunchies come off, and so your cake layer is even.
And there you go. Fold this. Fold this up. Put it in your scrap pile. So this scrap pile is what I'm going to eat later. This is so that I can sample the cake before anybody does. So all my cakes are cut, and now I'm going to frost my cake and assemble it. Okay, and now after it touches every surface, it's easy for me to just scrape it like this. On top like that. I'm going to squish it down just to make sure it's nice and flat and even. And I'm going to put more frosting than I'm going to use because it's easier to scrape off the frosting. Squish. This time, now that I have all my layers here, I'm going to frost the entire cake. And this is called crumb coating. It just seals in all those loose crumbs so that when I go in with the frosting, it doesn't like pull it up and gets displayed on the outside of the cake. You know what I'm saying? All right, check this out. Very thin layer. So after I'm done crumb coating this cake, I'm going to put it in the refrigerator and let it harden or set a little. I don't know if you could see it. There's like little flecks on the outside. So that's the crumbs that I'm okay with showing up right now, but I don't want later. Refrigerator time for this bad boy. Okay, it's tomorrow. After I put the cake in the fridge, I realized that I needed to make more frosting. So by the time I was done making more frosting, I was too tired, so I went to sleep. So if you want to continue to see what I do with this cake, I'm going to post another video, but this is it. Okay, so I already cut the cake, so I'm just going to show you what the inside looks like. Here it is. Thanks for watching. Bye.